What's up, guys? GotDave here, and I wanted to do a little review on the Beta 500. And it's not going to be super technical, not going to be super in-depth. I just kind of wanted to do like what it's going to be like if you go into the dealership and look at this bike, and what I first thought of this bike first looking at it, and what I think of it now, like owning it and riding it now that I'm used to it. And I wanted to talk about a couple of things that I think you should do to the bike, a couple of modifications that I think it really needs if you're planning on using it for the street like I do. The very first thing I would like to talk about is how tall the bike is. And that's, if you go to the dealership and you first look at it, you'll be like, damn, that bike is huge, dude. And when you swing your leg over it, you'll be like, holy crap, it is so tall. And I figured I'd talk about that first just because that is something that I like about it and something that I don't like about it all at the same time. What I like about that is that it does put you up higher, and so you can see, wow, really well in traffic and like over the car that's in front of you, stuff like that. And I think that it also allows people to see you better. You know, like especially like if I'm wearing my day glow helmet, it puts that day glow helmet way up higher where people can see me from far away, you know, from far back. So I think that's a good thing. But it is a bad thing because I'm pretty tall, like I'm almost 6 feet tall, and I've got really long legs, long arms, you know, I'm real lanky. And even for me with my long legs, it is really hard for me to touch the ground on this bike sometimes when I come to a stop. It really is. You know, like I'll be expecting the ground to be like right there, and it is not right there. It's like not even close to right there. This bike is super, super high up. And it's something that you'll get used to, but at the same time, like you'll get in a position where like maybe like you're coming out of a driveway and you've got to stop because there's a car coming, and like the front and back tires, like the front tire will be on the street, the back tire will be on the driveway, and it'll put it up even higher, like you'll kind of be like high, and it'll be even harder to touch the ground, and you'll be like, oh crap. Like there have been times where I've like almost lost my balance and dropped this thing just because of that. So good and bad. That's why I wanted to mention that first. Let me talk about the things that I really like about the bike and the things that attracted me to this bike when I first saw it. And because I just saw it sitting out front of the dealership when I drove by, and I was like, dude, that is a good looking bike. I love the color. I love how it looks. You know, the gold, the red, it looks incredible. The 2018s, the plastics are white, and I really don't think it looks as good as how mine looks. I really like how it looks. It's the 2017, in case you're wondering. And then I put the green grips on it because I thought that really like set it off and kind of just made it look like a toy. I really like that look. And I like the look of the Supermoto mirrors instead of the stock mirrors, the Mickey Mouse ears. Because the stock mirrors on this bike are gigantic. But they are cool because they fold in for off-roading. So they are good mirrors. I love the fact that it came with a GPS unit. It came with this Voyager right here, which has a tachometer. It's got a tachometer. It's got your engine temperature right there. And then speed. It's got a clock. Then if you go to the next window, it's got your odometer. It's got your altitude. It's got your water temperature, outside temperature, time, compass, speed. And then this one has odometer and hours, and then max speed, average speed. It's got it all, man. It's like gnarly that it has all that. And then you can go down to here. I haven't been tracking anything, but that's map mode, and it actually has a GPS. So if you take this bike off-road, you can just set home wherever you park your truck, and then you can find your way back. No matter what, you're not going to get lost. So that is a very cool feature that attracted me to this bike. And another thing was that it's $2,000 cheaper than the KTM or the Husqvarna. At least around here. I compared the prices. I went to the dealerships, and while I'm talking about all the things that I liked about it, I will talk about the two, I guess I could say three if you talk about the tires, the three modifications that if you ride this bike on the street that I feel like you really need to make. And the first thing I did, I put those tires on. I got rid of the knobby tires, and I got the Conti Trail Attack 2 tires. And it's still the 21-inch rim in the front and the 18-inch rim in the back, but it handles so good on the street, and it stops so much better and everything. It's like way safer. Like from a safety standpoint or performance standpoint, it's the way to go. On the street legal dirt bike, or any dirt bike for that matter, is the rear disc rotor and the front will be pretty much the same size. And that really puts the braking at a disadvantage because so much of the braking is on your front tire. And so I actually just recently purchased the kit to put this. It's if you measure it with a tape measure, it's about 10.5 inches or so for the front rotor. And this new one's like 13 or something. It's way more leverage. And it came from Beta Factory. It's actually a factory part. It comes with the rotor, and it comes with that red piece right there. And you actually have to disassemble the caliper, and this replaces the aluminum piece that's on their stock, and it moves the whole thing out farther to make up for the bigger rotor. It like relocates everything perfectly. So I did all that, and that made a huge difference in the braking. That is the way to go, in my opinion. But it made such a difference that I feel like if you did that and you were using it off-road, it would probably be like, no, you wouldn't want that. It would be a bad difference. It would be way too easy to lock it up and wash that front end out. So I wouldn't recommend that. The other modification is the steering dampener, and it's a GPR. And I got the GPR model because the Öhlins, or the Scott's model, is on top of the bars, and I did a video on that. It would be about like here, and then I'd be looking at my Voyager like, what, like how fast am I going, or what. I didn't want that. Like the Voyager is like such a feature, in my opinion, that I wanted to be able to like just look at it and see my dash easily, like you can see. And so the GPR model was a underbar model. So it raised the bars up a little bit, which is what I wanted, because that makes it easier for me to stand up on the pegs. And it still allowed me to see the GPS screen like perfectly between like how it is. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. So it's expensive, and you got to take apart the whole front end. You got to pull the triple clamps apart and take apart the headset because you got to get this mount on. So it's not the easiest thing to install, but I would recommend it. I would, it's makes a huge difference on the street. Like when you go on the freeway and you're doing like 80 miles an hour on the freeway, the front end will be like whoa, and you'll start tank slapping. I mean, it's a weird geometry. It's definitely a dirt bike. It's not a street bike. And when you get going super high speed, you realize that, and it's a good thing to have that steering dampener. All right, let's talk about the dislikes. The number 1 and number 2, and it doesn't matter which order, dislikes that you will have about this bike is the seat is so uncomfortable and the range is so small. But it goes hand in hand. Like if the seat was more comfortable, then the range would seem even shorter. And if the range was farther than the seat, it would just be unbearable, because the seat's only good for about 75 miles and your ass is just killing you. You can go about 77 miles on the 2 gallons that it holds. At least the way I ride around on the street, whatever, it's good for about, say, like 75 miles on your 2 gallons of gas. That's what you get. And that seat, you feel it after about 10 or 15, maybe 20 miles, and I do a lot of standing up on this bike when I ride around. If I'm going just like point A to point B, I'm just cruising, I'll be standing up, dude. Because when I'm sitting down, after a while, between the vibration and how hard the seat is, I mean, it's like a 2x4, man. It's like a log splitter, and it will give you monkey butt big time. What's strange, it's in California, I thought it was required that you had a kickstand kill switch, and this bike does not come with a kickstand kill switch. It can be in gear with the kickstand down, and you can just let out the clutch and start riding away and hit that kickstand and totally eat shit. And normally bikes in California will have some sort of a switch with a little wire, like down there, so that it knows if it's up or down. And if this is down, right when you put it in gear, even if the clutch is held in, it'll kill the engine, just so that there's no chance of you letting the clutch out and going without that, with that down and not knowing and eating shit. The other weird thing is it doesn't have a neutral light. You know, like most bikes have like a little green light that comes on with an N, you know, to let you know the bike's in neutral. This doesn't have that. So it's like you got to put it in neutral and then just kind of like let the clutch out slow and be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's good. So that's my review on the Beta 500, or on my Beta 500. It is not a full-on in-depth review, and I didn't really mean it to be, you know. I haven't even had this bike for 2,000 miles yet, and I'm loving it. So I just figured I've gotten a lot of questions by different people who say that they are interested in buying a Beta. So I figured hopefully that video will answer some of those questions. Yeah, just maybe watching me ride it will take away some of the doubts that you have about buying the thing. But I just wanted to make it like, you know, so if you're thinking about going to the dealership and looking at one, maybe that'll take the place of doing that, other than sitting on it and actually riding it, of course. But I don't know. You guys have a great day, and let me know in the comments section if next time I do a review on something, let me know what you would like to be included in that review. You know, like the different points that you would like me to talk about that I did not talk about in this review. And I will talk to you later. Peace out, guys. Like.